could be a person that just opens up a franchise. You know, you could be a person that say, hey, I want to open up a McDonald's. So that would, you still an entrepreneur. You just basically opened up a McDonald's. What we have here with us is some documents. Just real quick, I want to pass these out so everybody be on the same page as we go through. If you could take one and pass it down, really appreciate it. Same thing with you. You can take one and pass it down. Very much. It's a three-page stack, sir. It's 3 pages in the stack. You don't want to be missing out on anything.
Oh, give me this. It's 3 pages.
Oh.
Now, we live in the city of Richmond, so there's a couple of rules and regulations around starting your own business. It's very important to know that if you want to open up a business, there's 2 ways to do it. You can do it illegally, or you can do it legally. And if you do it legally, you'll be in the business of success. But if you do it illegally, you know, one day somebody's gonna come to you. They're gonna be called the IRS, and they're gonna come take everything that you started and that you thought you were building. So what we're going to talk about first, before we go any deeper, we're going to talk about the very basic elements for starting your own business. This is the easy part. Getting the paperwork for your business is the #1 thing that you can do. It's like step 1, okay? But just getting the paperwork straight for for your business, that doesn't make you a business owner, okay? Thank you, sir. All right. At the front of this is from the City of Richmond Department of Finance. I had to go through this process. Mr. White had to go through this process.
There you go, sir.
Oh, you can put them down to the back. That's cool. I'll come get them. I had to go through this process. Mr. White had to go through this process. Any business in the City of Richmond has to go through a process of paperwork in order to set it up. Okay? That's everything from event planning
to publishing, to just marketing yourself, calling it a business and working with various people. You have to go through this process. Like you said, it can come back on you if you don't go through this process. And it's not a hard process. It's just filling out paperwork. But if this is your dream or something you believe in, this is what you want to go through. Make sure you cover yourself as well as that you get compensated properly. It's not that hard to go through it, though. He's going to go through the steps. So,
I'm about to talk about there's 4 different types of businesses. Now, the easiest one to start up is a sole proprietorship. Now, a sole proprietorship is say I, Deron Chavis, I say, look, I want to open up my own business. I want to, say for instance, I want to open up a t-shirt shop. So I go down to City Hall and say, hey, look, I want to open up a t-shirt shop. I want to buy and sell myself. So what I'll first do is I'll go get a certificate of an assumed name. That's number 2, filing of certificates of assumed name. That basically allows me to create a fictional name. You know, like somebody has a Nike, say somebody opens up a business that calls it Nike Shoe Shop. Nike Shoe Shop is an assumed name, but Deron Chavis to own Nike Shoe Shop. The second thing that you need to get is zoning. Zoning, this is the rules and regulations of what type of business can be open in what area, okay? Many of you all live in the East End, okay? For instance, you know the Family Resource Center, correct? Any of y'all familiar with the Family Resource Center? Right across the street from the Family Resource Center used to be a Cuban restaurant. They had to go through zoning in order to see if they were allowed to open that type of business in that area. Every neighborhood has certain zoning rules that apply. It only allows you to open restaurants in a certain type of area, storefronts in a certain type of area, museums, art galleries, convenience stores in a certain type of area. So when you set up your business, you have to go to City Hall and find out, based on where you want to open up your business at, see if the zoning allows it. Some areas are just residential.
Yeah, I was saying, I was wanting to find out the hard way, because I mean, he's giving you education on how to get your business now. I didn't even go through these steps, and I found out the hard way. You can get rejected based on not having zoning. Something you don't even think about when starting a business is zoning, but you can get, that's one thing you have to go through. find out where you're gonna have your business. Are you gonna have it out your home, or you're gonna have it in an actual location? And then you need to go get your business registered, as he stated, and then zoning. You may have to pay a fee. It's usually gonna be a one-time fee, but zoning is necessary. All these businesses you see around here have paid a zoning fee or have zoning based on that. If you're gonna have it out your home, usually sole proprietors will have their business out of their home because it's a small business. You have to, if it's an apartment, you have to go to the leasing office to get permission. If it's a home, and it's depending on what street it's on and what area it's in, you still have to get permission. But it's worth it because somebody can come back and say you don't have proper zoning and shut your business down, and you can't do anything about it. So you want to go ahead and he's giving you the paperwork ahead of time. A lot of y'all may not even be thinking about being an entrepreneur right now. Your mind just may be focused on college, but after college you may end up combining what you learned in college to become an entrepreneur. These are still things you need to learn. I went through the whole college process, and now I'm still doing an entrepreneur piece as well as utilizing my degree. So if you don't know it now, trust me, this is the proper way to do it. But zoning and establishing your name, coming up with a creative name, these are all things that need to be done.
Yeah. You know, I went to college too. I went to Virginia State University. You know, I went through all the 4 years, came back, went and found work, found a job. And it was great. You know, I was making good money and everything, but it wasn't enough. So, you know, my passion was not exactly the job that I got after I went to college. So it became important to me to figure out a way in which that I could supplement my income. So I started my business based off of that, after that need and also that passion. I majored in mass communications. Yeah,
I did the same thing. I went to Norfolk State for my undergrad, and that was mass comm as well. I got my master's from Strayer. And as he stated, I mean, when you were in school, when I was in school, I know times change, but when I was in school, you think the degree is going to do everything, and then you get into reality, and it's only there to assist you, but it's not going to do everything for you. And I wanted more income just like he did, just like y'all probably going to want. You know, times everything get more expensive. So now it's like, I got the degree, I'm utilizing that, I have a good job, but I also got a side business. A lot of people out here, if you talk to them, some of your parents or uncles or aunts, some of them may have a side business as well. And they may have to go through this process. You may have grown up under somebody that was an entrepreneur like a parent, and you can talk to them about it, but they more than likely to go through the same process. And it's not going to be the only thing you can rely on. This may be a foundation, and I have the same foundation, but when you go out and you get a job that's just paying you, you know, once every 2 weeks, imagine you can be an entrepreneur on the side that you can get paid every day. You get paid while you sleep. You know, we got an online website. You know, a lot of people those are booming right now. Those people get paid when they sleep. When they not doing anything, the job is still doing its thing on its own. These are things y'all want to look at because it's going to be beneficial. You got your job that you went to school for. However the paycheck is, you got also money on the side. Entrepreneurship. Sometimes the entrepreneurial job on the side takes over for the main job, and then you end up doing what you love, and that's what you want to do. So these are all things that you need to think about. And starting early is the key. Don't think you got to wait till you know, early 30s or late 20s. Early is the key. I mean, there's plenty of success stories out there of people in their teenage, that are teenagers or higher that started and already hitting the millionaire status and whatnot because they had a dream and they had a vision. But you got to do your vision the right way, and that's what he's doing, is teaching you how to go the proper steps in order to become a successful entrepreneur, along with whatever you're going to college to do.
When I went to college, I really didn't know what I was going to college for. How many of y'all know what y'all major is going to be when y'all get to college? You already know what's your major going to be?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice, biology, business entrepreneurship, mass production, film animation. Anybody else?
I heard everything I've heard. They all can do a business without as well.
What's your name? Psychology. See, I guess it was probably, I would say, I got out of college in 2001. I started my business in 2003. So when I went to college, I was thinking, like, I don't know, mass communication, liberal arts. I was always into reading. I was always into the radio. I was always into music and journalism. So I said, hey, you know, I'm going to go with mass comm. And when I get out, I'm going to find a job in a newspaper or a radio station. But when I got out of college, it just wasn't hitting like that. It didn't turn around quick enough. So, you know, I started working. I always had a side passion for Black history and culture. You know, I was always into our culture, always trying to find out more about, you know, African American history and things like that. So I started volunteering at the Black History Museum, and one summer they didn't have enough money to do their jazz concert. Traditionally, a lot of black institutions are underfunded, so this particular summer they didn't have any money. So I said, hey, I got this idea. How about you let me use the space in order to do this event? Just don't charge me any money. They said, okay. I did it. Huge success, like 500, 600 people came out for the first year in 2003 with a back lot at the Black History Museum. So I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Everybody started hitting me up on the emails and on the phone, like, yo, y'all gonna do it again. So I kind of fell into my business. It was something that I just did off the shrimp, off the love, and it was a demand for it. People wanted to see more and more of it. So now we're in our 8th year, and I was telling you earlier that we have the festival going on in Atlanta as well, so we branched out. We were able to franchise our situation beyond just doing it just here in the city. So what you were saying about going to school and everything and then finding your passion later, always keep in mind when you were little, you had a dream of something that you wanted to do. Don't never lose sight of that, because it's always an opportunity to make that your business. But just to get back to this, there's 3 other types of businesses. As I was saying earlier, you got your sole proprietorship. That's just when you say, hey man, I ain't looking for nobody else to give me no help. I'm gonna do this by myself. Ain't nobody else believe in my vision. I'm gonna just go ahead and go run with it and go set it up. I'm trying to get it started right now. So you go down to the city of Richmond and get your sole proprietorship. The problem with a sole proprietorship is that once you set up a sole proprietorship, if anybody want to sue you for some faulty situation or bad product or bad service or something like that, then you will be liable as an individual.
To break that down, he means that anything that you own that has value, that's yours. They can, if they sue you, whatever the amount is to sue for, they can get your things. Whereas what he's about to talk about, the next level in regards to a business, it'll protect your personal things and separate them from what you've obtained from the business. There's ups and downs to both of them. That's just to make it more simple.
Yeah, they basically can come, if you have a sole proprietorship, they can come get your stuff and the business stuff. But if you have an LLC, which is the next type of business, the only thing that they can get is the company stuff, okay? So anything that you purchase under the company name, whether it be vehicles, whether it be equipment, any credit cards, anything that the business has developed is what they come after when they sue you. They'll take that and, it'll cover you. It's basically a CYA situation where you're trying to cover your backside. Let's keep it real, because if you as an individual, if you got a family, you want to make sure that your family is covered. If you start a business, you don't want anybody to come sue you and be able to take your house. I mean, this is the world of business. It happens.
So what would be a reason that somebody would go with a sole proprietor?
Well,
versus the LLC.
Quick to want to get started, just to go. I would say most people will go with the sole proprietorship if they want to just go ahead and get their business started off. They don't really have the money for the LLC to set it up. Eventually, they want to evolve their business later on. So some people start with the LLC, but most eventually develop into at least an LLC. Okay. The last type of business that you can start is a corporation. A corporation is a lot more complicated. It's a lot more paperwork, but it's probably one of the most recognized types of businesses. As you know, anybody hear about Murder Inc., Rockefeller, Nike, Reebok, Bathing Ape, Brand Monkey. Any of these businesses that you see, these are all corporations. Corporation basically has the biggest difference between the LLC and a corporation is that one, you have a board, you have a membership board, you have people who are who serve as advisors for your company, and also not only do they serve as advisors for your company, but you also can sell shares of your company in order to raise money. So that's the second part.
What is the most successful type of business?
To be honest, the most successful type of business, it really doesn't matter, what type you have. As far as somebody pushing us. We saw you about to hit your head on the jump. We trying to help you, man. You about to hit your head on the side of the jump. He was gone. You trying to push that man? We didn't see you had no head trauma. But it right, yeah. He asked a question. He said, "What's the most successful type of business?" Now, I can tell you that a LLC is the most important. A corporation is the most important. But really, at the end of the day, it's not about the type of business. It's about your business acumen. It's about how you run your business, whether it be a partnership, where it's just one or two of y'all. A partnership is basically, say for instance, this gentleman right here, and you say, I have an idea to sell sneakers, and you say, hey, you got the artistic skill, and I got the building. Let's form a partnership. All right, that's when two entities come together in order to conduct business together. The only difference is that the difference between a sole proprietorship and a partnership is that if they sue, they're gonna come after both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So it's still
You gotta trust that person.
You gotta trust that person. Yeah. The LLC kind of overrides as the optimum type of business to have in this day and age, because everybody want to sue somebody. Is an LLC, and that covers you pretty much, and it's not as complicated as a.
I was saying also, and I have a sole proprietorship, and they usually start off as that unless you have a certain amount of money or you have certain business partners that you already know you want to go with. I decided I want to do what I'm doing by myself, so I started with a sole proprietorship. Usually, another thing he didn't mention, if you're going to be a sole proprietor, it usually does start off with an individual, as well as it may be something where you're not prone to get sued, that type of thing. Like if you may have a t-shirt business, something like that, more than likely you sell a t-shirt to somebody, they're not gonna come back and sue you over a t-shirt. Mm-hmm. So it's not gonna be a big deal for you to be a sole proprietor. But these corporations, and he answered it correctly, it's not really a one over the other. But if you look at who's bringing in money, I guess we can look at corporations. Right. If you list Nike and all them people, because we know how big Nike is. So they're being successful. They have boards, they have lawyers, and they have people to protect all their assets. So if you sue Nike now, you'll get some money, but Nike not going out of business. Right. Whereas if I'm doing big and I stay as a sole proprietor and somebody sue me, they might can get everything that I have. But that's just in the beginning. You may start as that. Eventually, I'm gonna move it up to an LLC, and if I bring somebody on, then they'll be a part of an LLC or a partnership. Also, sole proprietors don't have to really file any taxes. Whereas once you get up to the other brackets, you have to do taxes. You got to have paperwork. So you may want to know an accountant, or have a friend that's good with numbers, because you want to have the documentation. You're gonna have to file taxes separate from yourself as well as your business. I don't have to do that. And at the time I started mine, I didn't want to have to do all the paperwork in the beginning, so I went ahead and did this route. And real quick, mine is just publishing. What I did was I wrote a book. I was a writer in school, and I wrote a book, started publishing. Well, actually, I wrote the book first, and my book just came out a month ago. It's called A Fully Seasoned Man's Relationship Recipe. And I don't want to go into it too tough, because I know we're on the business, but just give y'all an example.
What the book about?
It's about relationships and taking women into the mind of a manipulative man. For sure. You might need that, brother. And it ain't free, but we talking about business here, so we got a big buddy. But I was gonna say, if you asked me if I was at your age what I was gonna do, I would not have mentioned writing a book. That's why I'm telling y'all that your plans can change, your business plans can change. I wasn't even big on entrepreneurship. I'm going to college, getting an education. You kind of blind in the beginning, and that's how I was. I went to school, I got all the education. You get out in the real world, you see you can get a job, but is it going to supply all your needs and wants? It's probably not. So I needed some more income. So I went ahead and wrote a book. Luckily, God blessed me with a gift to write a book. So I wrote, and the book came out a month ago. I just started my business a month ago, so I'm not in here as a veteran. I'm still learning, and I think that's why I'm the best person to come, speak to you all. I just started a month ago, but my book came out, and he can attest to it. The book blew up. It just came out a month ago. And I'll get you 1 second. It came out a month ago, and I've been doing talk shows, radio shows on Beat, a vendor at his Happily Natural Day, which that's been a success as well. And I was like, I went through another publishing company, so they get some of my money too. Mm-hmm. Do I like that? No. So I'm like, all right, let me see how I can do this. So I started my own publishing company, went through the steps that he's going through, went to John Marshall Courthouse and thought of a name, tried to be creative with a name, got the zoning, and create a website. Nowadays, you can do all that on a computer, to be honest with you. Create a website. Now, whenever you see me somewhere, I'm plugging my website. I'm sending people on my website. They can buy my book on my website. I'm sure all y'all technology savvy. So, I've set up to where you can click on a link of my book and buy it. So it's like I got my job, I work Department of Social Services along with him, but at the same time, I got checks coming in from my publishing company. Then, all y'all know about the hustle game, so what I do is, I got checks coming from the publishing company, but I bought some of my own books at a lower price. I'm teaching y'all now. I bought it at a lower price, right? So I sell my books at $15. He's seen it. Everybody in my job that bought it. I've been on radio, a few TV shows. I got some things coming up. And what I do is I sell my book $15. I ain't gonna tell y'all what I got it for, but it's a lot less than $15. So I'm making a profit myself. I see that cash every day when I see somebody. As well as the publishing company sends me checks, as well as I work with the Department of Social Services. I get a check every 2 weeks. Now I got 3 different types of income coming in. Did I want to become an entrepreneur when I was 16? Not at all. You know what I'm saying? But now, I'm 29 right now. Now I'm 29 and I'm doing it, as well as I have a college education. So that's why it's important to be able to do that. You had a question? You remember your question? You can buy it online, Barnes & Nobles. You can my website. I bought my business cards today as well. And it's a lot of places. Amazon.
What's the name of it?
It's called A Fully Seasoned Man's Relationship Recipe. I don't want to go into it because it'll start something. Because every time we go somewhere,
Go ahead, go into it.
yeah, no, we go to business. I just want to give y'all a visual to show.
It's important. We just wanted you to. I wanted you to be able to see somebody who's doing that, who's doing the business.
I'm gonna get it at the end and bring it around. Can I get business?
It's important for you to be able to see that business is an example of somebody that turned their life story and some of their life experiences into a book. Now, as young as you are, I'm sure you all have life experiences as well. So I mean, that's something that's very simple to do. You can write your own book, self-publish, sell it online, and start your own business just that easy. But there's one thing to have products, but it's also another thing to have services. A lot of you all said that you had, like this gentleman said, he wanted to be film and animation. That's a service. Your business in the future later on years, you can have your own animation company, and you could be contracting with this gentleman who said he's going to school for psychology, right? He could be contracting your services in order to do commercials for his business. You see what I'm saying? That's the type of scope that you could be thinking on. You a business management major. Once you start whatever type of business you want, you can hire him in order to do your advertisements. What kind of business? You said you wanted to do biology. What exactly? You trying to be a doctor or veterinarian? As a veterinarian,
He can start his own practice.
he can start his own practice. Same thing with you. Criminal justice. You're gonna be a lawyer, I'm assuming, or maybe homicide detective. Okay. Well, I'm sure you're gonna be getting a lot of experiences where you could be writing some books from off of them homicide cases. So I mean, anywhere, any type of business that any type of major you might be going to school for, always be thinking about, well, how can I monetize this for myself? Because in this day and age, the reason why we're talking about entrepreneurship so hard, because we're in 2010, and as many of you all may be aware, we are in a recession. And the reality is that, yeah, you're going to college now, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to have a job waiting for you when you graduate. Now, I went through high school almost, I was in a college preparatory program. You know, they was like, yo, you going to college. Every year, this is what they pump to us. College, honor classes. You know, I graduated top of my class, all that type of stuff. But when I came out of college, I was out back. I was like, well, what am I going to do? I can't find no job in the major that I went to. So in this day and age, they said that unemployment is 20%. So how many 20 people in this classroom? No, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, what's 20% of 20? Right, we got four. Well, say for instance, these 4 people right here, they ain't got no job.
Why we ain't got
Because I mean, I'm just hypothesizing here. But this side here, you all may be able to find some sort of employment based on the job market that exists.
As I'm saying, it don't mean y'all getting good money. It's just that y'all have a job.
Yeah, that don't mean that you ain't working at
They don't.
McDonald's.
Y'all have a job, but are you satisfied with your job is another thing. And just to piggyback off what he was saying, we work with the Department of Social Services. We work in benefits, so we do food stamps, Medicaid, other services. And I'm bringing it up to say, Deron, how many times have you interviewed somebody? They got all the degrees in the world. They've even been. I've interviewed everything from lawyers to ex-lawyers, professors, current professors like online, I mean, they have a job or they just left a job that was paying, you know, 80,000, 70,000, but due to this, how the economy is now they're forced to come in there. Some of them loaded, it's a recession. Some of them lower their head in shame or just how things are going. They got to come ask me for food stamps now. I'm sure he's been through the same thing. He's been there a little bit longer than I have. So what I'm saying is that you got to have something to be able to piggyback up. Or if you can't keep your mind in a box, you got to think outside the box. Go hard for the degree, get your grades, and get the job. But it ain't no guarantee the job is going to stay. And there's nothing to get you down, but there's no guarantee. There's people that come in that have been teachers. I mean, big jobs, not even just ordinary jobs, and now they're coming in and they can't find work. They got doctorate degrees, master's degrees, and they can't find work. So you got to make it happen, and this is a way to make it happen. In addition to hopefully you get to get that job you get and stay in that job you get.
Just to close out with the types of things that you need to do for your business. There's federal tax ID number. When you set up a sole proprietorship, you'll set up your business under your own social security number. Okay? Now that social security number travels with you for the rest of your life, but you want to set up a federal tax ID number so that, you know, for tax purposes, when you file your taxes, the IRS can delineate you from your business. Okay? So that's why the federal tax ID number is important. Also, if you're going to hire employees, your federal tax ID number is going to be a prerequisite. Any of you all thinking about opening up businesses that serve food, of course you're going to have to get a health permit. If you want to open up a club or anything like that, a lounge that serves alcohol, you're going to have to talk to the ABC, the license board, public safety. These are all different things that you have to talk to people about. Now, the last thing, the Virginia Department of Agriculture. Now, I want to keep throwing this back to you all because you all are doing this garden thing, and as I said yesterday, that's so dynamic because you know, gardening doesn't just have to be a hobby. Okay, you know, there are commercial farms. There are farms where people go and all they do, say for instance, I can have a corn farm, and all I do is sell corn to the people that make silk or soy products. I can make corn. I can make products that only go to Martin's grocery store. So you know, when you think about gardening, you think about we might make a couple plots here, but the reality is that you're getting the skills that could turn into a large industry later on down the line. I mean, I know organic farmers. Every Saturday, we partner with an organic farm from out of Lawrenceville, and you know, his company sells direct to restaurants. You know, they sell direct to some small scale grocers. So it's very lucrative. Okay, so keep that in mind as well when you're thinking about entrepreneurship, especially when you combine it with the gardening piece. Now, when we come back next week or tomorrow, next couple of days, I'm gonna have some people with me from the Minority Business Development Office, and they'll be talking to you all about how to set up your business plan, and also be talking to you about funding your business. Now, I know that's me myself. My business is self-funded. I run a business that has products and services, and so the way I run my business, I basically contract with other businesses in order to advertise their business. Our festival has a contract with Organic Root Stimulator. Any of the ladies ever heard of Organic Root Stimulator, the hair care product? Okay. It's a hair care company that makes like moisturizers, shampoo, things like that. But they contracted as a sponsor of our festival, and they've given us over the years about $5,000, you know, each time we do the festival in order to advertise their business at our event. So you know, we don't really have to worry about seed money. You know, we sell vendor spaces, so people give us money in order for us to do our event. But you know, some businesses you might need, you know, a couple G's up front in order to get it off the ground. So we'll have Mylan Tran that'll be talking to you all about loans and different types of programs that you can get money to start your own business. So before we go into our next portion, I'm gonna bring my comrade in, Jalil Kareem, from the other room, so he can talk to you a little bit about what his business is. Do you all have any questions for us, as we were kind of talking a lot and trying to let questions come in and out?
And what would be your advice if you're trying to start a hotel business?
Start a hotel business.
He can go into he can get the education background first.
Get this.
That's a major hotel major. Okay.
Well,
He gonna need funding, I mean, first, cause this is a hotel, man, you're gonna have to make sure you, get somebody to help you write a grant, or you're gonna have to request some funds, if you don't already have partners that may have money to tally up, put it together for you to start, you gotta, you gotta think all the things you gotta get, your building, you gotta get the, protection for, if somebody was to go against you, like we was talking about in regards to suing, if you're gonna serve alcohol, because they usually have a restaurant in there, you gotta get that license, so there's a lot of background things you gotta do, in regards to that. It's a lot of money you're gonna need to, if you wanna contend with these other people that's already out here, you wanna have some funds to back you, so I mean, you got to learn the business side of it in regards to, protecting yourself and being successful.
I would go hard on figuring out what's gonna set my business apart from what's already out there in the market. I guess, like, if I can give you any advice, I'll be thinking ahead now, looking at all the other hotels that's out, and think about what service do they not offer that I'm gonna offer.
Like amenities like the hotels have. You know, whatever you like in a hotel, if you like a hotel that got a spa, jacuzzi, but then you notice there's some that don't. The one that does have a jacuzzi is already surpassing the one that don't, so now you can have that, but you might throw a twist on yours, and then that can be your sales pitch. I mean, it's more along to it, but you wanna make sure that you stand out.
Right.
You know, like, I make sure if I write a book, what makes a million people out here writing books, so what makes my book stand out? What's gonna make your hotel stand out? What's gonna make his Happy National Day Festival stand out? The fact he's been doing it for 9 years, and there's other people that have been trying it, he's doing something different. So you just gotta find something different that you can do with your hotel, as well as have the funding and the business know-how to maintain it. What you got?
Say you have the animation studio, right, and you sell it to Disney or Warner Brothers for like a whole lot of money, would you go into retirement after that?
Depending on how you invest your money. I mean, you know, if they sell it, it depends on how much you sell it for. Money, when you start a business and sell it, you can spend that money on absolutely nothing frivolous, or you can take that money and invest it into making money for you. So if you take that money that they pay you and put it in the right places, then you'll never have to work again. But if you take that money and say, hey man, I'm gonna go buy me some new Jordans, son, I'm gonna put these spinners on the whip, flying Maybach right now, flying back and forth to Bermuda.
You gotta be smart with the money. You can sell it for $millions and not be smart with the money. Your money be gone in no time.
It's gonna be gone.
But I mean, there's plenty of people out here that are sitting at home right now while we gotta be at work, and they sitting at home, but their money is working for them.
Yeah, that's
online. They got money invested somewhere. Make your money work for you.
That's a whole other type of business. You know, financial management.
I be seeing all people donate money by like stock, like stock options.
That's big. Yeah.
Stock, IRAs.
And you can start stock now. I mean, you don't have to wait till a certain age. I mean, you can get in stock now.
If you graduate from high school, this is a piece of advice that's gonna break. When you get that money from your family members, when you graduate and people come give you $100, $50, and you know, this happens. It happened to me. You know, it was like, here, you know, congratulations. Take that money and invest it in a CD. Get you a CD. Get you an IRA. Get some sort of money marketing account. Real easy to set up, like $500. You can put the money in the money market account, and the money market account accrues based off of how much money you have in the bank. You get interest. Like once a quarter or something like that, you get money back from just having your money in a money market account. So, you know, there's ways that you could be making money that's not just, you know, having your own business, but it's also about how you manage your finances. But
and the main thing that he's saying is that what he's doing, if you do that at your age or even younger, remember we just said set yourself apart from somebody else? Everybody out there, you know, at your age, I did the same thing. When you get money, you're ready to go blow it on whatever. But the thing is, out of his whole crew, it might be 2 of y'all that want to be different. Everybody else can go blow their money on cars, shoes, whatever. 2 of y'all in here gonna go set their money aside on what we just talked about. And when you watch 10 years from that point, watch who is doing good and not who's not, but who's doing better from who's not. All those went and bought all this stuff, the money's gone after that. This person that started stocking from 15, 16, 17 and don't touch it, when they 25, 26, it's curtains. Like that's when you can start spending. That's what it needs to be.
I actually know a girl that she lives in the fan, and she has a brand new, like restored old house in the fan that she's paid off, paid for, and everything. She's 24 years old. She saved since she was a teenager, very young, and bought it for herself, on her own money, living in a 5-bedroom, beautiful old Victorian home.
Herself.
Yeah,
Success
all
story
paid
right there.
for.
See? I mean, and it's about thinking about that stuff now. It's about thinking about that stuff now, so that when you get 24, 25, you'll be like, dang, I shoulda, woulda, wish I coulda, back when I was 19. So we're gonna break real quick, but on this, the first sheet that I gave you, there's a form called Entrepreneurship Basics. On the right-hand side, well, left-hand side, there's a couple questions, 10 questions. Go ahead and answer those questions and count up your answers, yes, and then it'll tell you at the bottom whether or not you might be a good candidate for starting your own business. If you don't have a pen, I got like 5 that I jacked right here off the table, so if you need one.
Renee, do you need a pen?
Sure.
It ain't my problem.
So y'all can share that.
It ain't.
Sound like a personal problem.
It is where you act on a personal problem.
Alright, y'all, in the meantime, I'm gonna, pass these around here, so over there.
How you gonna break
Hopefully it
it?
works.
Matter of fact, y'all can pass them. Y'all just take them and pass them.
That should be.
I'll get yours and take it back around there. Was that all the questions y'all had? No? You got questions? Look like you got questions.
You still hungry?
Ain't got me cut off.
That next question.